Welcome to the College Football Bros. I am Trey Newman, and today I'll be taking a deep dive into the Georgia Bulldogs and their 2022 season. At the end of the episode, I'll be giving you a prediction on their record and my thoughts on how the season sets up for them based on their schedule. So with that said, let's dive into Georgia. We all know the story. They won the national title with a suffocating defense, finally slayed the Alabama Dragon in the national championship game. So now that they broke through and won it all, will it set off a run here and another dynasty in college football, or will they be one of those teams that has a hangover and be complacent? Usually when a team returns only 10 starters, loses 15 guys to the NFL draft, it's a major cause for concern. But with the top three classes that they've had, Kirby Smart has accumulated an immense amount of talent that is ready to perform, so it's definitely not doom and gloom in Athens. So let's dive into the team. Of course, let's take a look at the offense first. And the offense, it got totally overshadowed last year by the defense, and deservedly so, considering how incredible they were. But the offense was no slouch. Averaged over 400 yards, nearly 40 points per game. Stetson Bennett, he got a lot of flack, but it's primarily just a case of him not being the flashy type, not the prototypical NFL prospect that some of the other teams have. But his numbers were great. 29 touchdowns, only 7 picks, 65% completions. He's not going to single-handedly win the game, but Georgia hasn't really needed him to. And to be honest, maybe the confidence that he gained from breaking through last year, maybe he'll feel a little bit more free this season and improve, but his floor is solid, as we've seen. On the outside, he's got some good weapons coming back to throw it to. His favorite target, Brock Bowers, is back. He's only a sophomore, hauled in 56 catches last year, one of the best tight ends in the country already. And really, the tight end room is one of the best out there. Eric Gilbert has gotten some good reviews recently. He's, hybrid receiver tight end. Darnell Washington can continue to produce. So Bowers and Gilbert both of them can really be considered receivers, uber talented. At receiver, they do lose Jermaine Burton to Alabama, which isn't great, but the youth behind him should step up. A.D. Mitchell showed his promise as a freshman last year, hauled in a long touchdown in the championship game. Ladd McConkey was the third leading receiver. He was only a freshman. Kyrus Jackson has been hampered by injury. Same with Dominic Blaylock, who showed flashes early in his career. But those guys are back. They could end up playing some key roles this season. At running back, Georgia, they've really become running back U. Gurley, Michelle, Chubb, White, Cook last year. Now you've got the main contributors with experience to be Kenny McIntosh, who will also showcase his speed in the return game. And then you got Kendall Milton. I'd expect a lot of production out of them this year. The blue chip freshman Branson Robinson will probably touch the ball too. He's very gifted physically already for just being a young pup. So as you can see, the offense will be more of an asset this year and really could help offset some of the defensive regression that they might have. So let's get into that defensive side. Georgia, they're still going to support. They're still going to sport a great defense. It's Kirby Smart. That's just what he does. Like we've mentioned before, the elite talent that they've recruited allows them to have another solid defense once again. But it also doesn't take an expert to realize that this defense won't match the success it had last year, given that they lose 5 first-rounders. The number one scoring D last year, holding teams to only 10 a game, only 4 yards per play, like really ridiculous stuff. I say that, though, and I still really like the defense, and it will still be one of the best in the country. They have a key piece back at all 3 levels. Up front, nose tackle Jalen Carter comes back. Honestly, he might have been the best of the linemen that they had last year, which is kind of a scary thought. Travel Walther, he will help replace the loss of Trayvon Walker. At linebacker, they get Nolan Smith back from last year. He played his best games of the year in both the playoff games. 15 tackles, 3 for loss, 2 sacks. Robert Beal Jr. is back, and now being out of the shadow of a guy like Nakobe Dean at linebacker level, he could thrive. Inside linebacker, there'll be new faces this year, but Jamon Dumas Johnson could be one of the breakout players in the whole SEC this year. Keely Ringo, he anchors the secondary. We know he had the ceiling. He sealed the national title with his pick 6 just a legendary play in Georgia lore. He was the top corner recruit a couple cycles ago. Second year of experience, should be elite. Christopher Smith at safety is back. He also had a pick in the national title. Tyke Smith, the old West Virginia transfer that came in with a lot of promise last year. He had to navigate some injury issues, but hopes to regain his form this season. So the cupboard is not bare. And with the blend of a key returner at each spot and some of this new talent, this should still be one of the top units and maybe could start slow, but ultimately flourish later in the season as it goes on. So let's shift over to the schedule. Now, compared to some of the other SEC schedules out there, Georgia's really isn't that bad. They start out the year with a fun one in Atlanta against Oregon, against their old defensive coordinator, Dan Lanning. But then Samford, Kent State, and Georgia Tech wrap up the non-conference. Fairly soft there. Overall, they play only 2 preseason ranked teams, Oregon and Kentucky. Now, some of the metrics out there like other teams like Tennessee and Mississippi State, so it's not going to be a total cakewalk. If you look at the Vegas over-under, it's set at 10.5 wins. I personally like the over. If you look at some of the look-ahead lines on FanDuel, they're more than a 2-touchdown favorite over some of their biggest opponents. With some of the inexperience and slight downtick in defense, I certainly wouldn't be shocked if they lost one game, maybe in a late season 4-week stretch where they have Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. But I can't point to a particular one that they would lose. But like I said, going with the over 10.5 wins, represent the East and the SEC title, and get their chance to actually win it this year, since it's easy to forget that they actually lost that game to Alabama last year. So that's it for the Bulldogs and this episode of the College Football Bros. Please let me know your comments down below on how you think Georgia will fare this year. Check out our podcast and this channel all season long. We're previewing each of the conferences, have weekly episodes during the upcoming season as we cover college football in a unique and entertaining way with my 2 other brothers. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.